Good morning, folks. Good morning. Welcome. Thank you very much for being here for our Sunday school kickoff this morning. We're going to open by reading together the verse that is inside of your handbook. It's based on Colossians 1:25-29. I have been made a servant of the church by God, who gave me this task to perform. It is the task of fully proclaiming the message, which is the secret hidden through all past ages from everyone, but now revealed to God's people. God's plan is to make known this secret to his people, this rich and glorious secret, which is for all peoples, and the secret that Christ is in you, which means that you will share the glory of God. So we preach Christ to everyone. With all possible wisdom, we warn and teach them in order to bring each one to God's presence as a mature individual in union with Christ. To get this done, I toil and struggle using the mighty strength which Christ supplies, which is at work in me. Amen. All right. You want to start off? Okay. We're going to do a little mic switching for the sake of the recording. Lord.
Hey everyone, thanks for being here and for taking the time to be here this morning. We appreciate it. We're so glad you want to be a part of our children's faith life here at Christ the King. It's so important. Studies show that when children have a relationship with someone other than family or peer that's an adult, that they stay involved in the church. So that's really important to us, and because you're here, obviously, to all of you. So thank you for being here. We're going to start kind of going through this booklet. We're not going to read everything to you verbatim because you can read, obviously, but we want to point out the important things. And for those of you that are new to teaching, raise your hand if you have not taught Sunday school here yet at Christ the King. So Molly, this is Molly. She's a fairly new member. She actually helped out at VBS and enjoyed that so much. She's here now, so teaching Sunday school, so that's awesome. I know we are missing a few teachers, and we do have a Sunday school teacher list there with the folks that have committed so far, and you'll get one of those before you leave. It will have email addresses, but we'll also email that out to you so that you can easily have access to it. Most of the things on the table here you can have access to online, but this booklet you cannot. So it's important you hold on to this. It has some really important information in it. Hello, welcome. Come on in. Before you leave today, too, I will reiterate, if you could please just initial next to your name on the teacher list over here on this middle table in the front, just so that we know you are here and we can go through and do your background check. And if anybody needs one, we will email it to you, but we'll get more into that later. If you would open up to the second page in your booklet where it says, a teacher at Christ the King is. Do we want to do that prayer at the top as well? No, we just did this. Okay. So a teacher at Christ the King is a child of God, loved and forgiven, interested in the faith formation of our children and youth, knowledgeable about the grade level curriculum, a role model and mentor in the faith. So that means you attend worship regularly. You're active in the life of CTK, you read scripture and spend time in prayer, and you participate in intergenerational activities. You're also a good steward of classroom resources and supplies. If you're needing any supplies, you request them early enough so that I can run out to the store and get them, and is not wasteful with supplies, which nobody has been. You all do a great job keeping up with your supplies. And you return any of your unused, for the younger classes, your learner sheets that you don't use to the Faith Formation Resource Center. And actually, we've gotten, this last time, I sent a whole box full of unopened, so we will get a nice credit for that. So you're doing that gets us money back into our account that we can spend on other things, so that's awesome. You're also a grade level shepherd. So you know the children by name. When you see them in the church, they love to come up and give you hugs, and it's awesome if you know their name. You're knowledgeable about grade level activities and encourage participation. And in this booklet, we have a list of the activities that we have and the dates that they are, so that as you're teaching, you can remind the kids, and as the parents come and pick them up, you can remind the parents, and that you also attend when you can. That's really important to us. Again, it's that relationship you have with the children. If they know that you care about them, they will keep coming back. And they will come to you if they need advice one day when they're 14, like my daughter. You will know about Grace Links, when youth group is and what ages of youth group, the choirs that are available for the children, any summer events and activities. And you also are one who prays for the students. As you know, prayer is a powerful thing. So if you pray for the students as well as each other, then it'll be a great Sunday school year. And you are one who is prayed for by the pastors and parents and the staff here at Christ the King. So I thought that was really important and something you can kind of look back on when you're having one of those days that you just need to read something uplifting. Here at Christ the King, at Sunday school, we start off Monday mornings. The 2-year-olds through the 5th grade go to music opening in Nagel Hall, and that's at 9:45. So we do ask for the teachers to be there at least 5 minutes early. We know things get crazy and sometimes you're running late, which is fine, but try as you will to be there at least 5 minutes early, because we do have, as you know, lots of young families joining our church. They show up, they're ready to find out, I didn't register, what do I need to do? And if there's not anyone in the row or a teacher there, then they don't know what they're supposed to do. So I know that y'all in the past have helped each other out. If they know you notice somebody's late, you kind of help that grade level, and that's important that that continues as well. And we appreciate that. The class time of Sunday school for everybody except, for 2-year-old through 5th grade, they go to class after music opening at 10, and they're in there until 10:45. And then for 6th through 12th grade, they do not go to music opening. They go straight down to their classrooms, and they are there for an hour from 9:45 to 10:45. And we do take attendance, and you'll have a binder with an attendance sheet in it, and it's really important that you mark attendance for us because we keep record of it here at church. And it lets us see who's coming, who started coming and stopped, and what we need to contact them if we notice that. And so that really helps us here at church to make sure you take attendance. You'll have that binder that we will give you at the beginning of every Sunday school class with you during the whole class period. And then when you finish with it, we just ask that you bring it up to the Faith Formation Resource Center and put it on the counter. And then we have a volunteer that comes in every 2 weeks, and she enters that attendance into our computer program, which is called ACS. If you notice a child hasn't come in a couple of weeks, as a teacher, it would be awesome if you could give them a call. In that binder will also be a sheet. We're doing things a little bit differently this year. We'll get into that. The children, there will be no more registration forms that parents will fill out. We're doing everything online. So they will fill out a Google document, and I will create a spreadsheet for each grade level, and on that one piece of paper will be the child's name, the parent's name, the emergency phone number, just the things you really need in your classroom if there were an emergency. And so if you notice a student has not come in a couple of weeks, it would be great to just say, hey, Jan, I'll call so-and-so and just make sure everything's okay. Again, it's that connection that we can make. The more we can be involved with them in their lives, the more that they will keep coming back to church. And that's really important. So Sunday school is dismissed at 10:45. 3rd through 5th grade and up, they're able to leave on their own if the parents give permission. For 3rd through 5th grade, they need to give permission and say it's okay that they can leave. And that information will also be on that spreadsheet. You'll know what kids can leave and what kids need to wait for a parent to come and pick them up. Any child who is 2 years old as of September 1st is eligible to come to Sunday school, and we want them to come. Sometimes the parents might go in the class with them just because the child's not quite ready, but they want them there, and that's encouraged. Anytime a child wants to come into your classroom and just hang out, we encourage that. We want them to see what great teachers we have and how great our curriculum is as well. We do have a family Sunday school class, and it's usually out on the playground, but we do have room 209 available for them on rainy days. Hang out, drink coffee, let the kids play. There are toys in the closet that they're free to pull out, so that is available for them. And then you have a job description. I think, did everybody get one or no? Yeah, okay. Okay. Okay, and so you can kind of look at that. And that format goes with all of the volunteer job descriptions we have going for every position here at the church. So we're trying to keep everything the same. So that's what most of our volunteer job descriptions will look like here at church. The most important thing that will happen is you will need to have a background check, and we will, Heidi and I this next week will be looking up each of the names. That's why we need you to initial here so we know who was here, and we will see if you're due for a background check. You need one every 3 years, and so if you receive an email from us, it'll have a link for you to go in and do this free background check. It's all online. It's really easy.
Let me just intervene. There are 2 links in the email. There are 2 links in the email. One link is that you pay for yourself. That takes a little expense away from the church if you're willing to do that. But you also then receive a card from them that says you've been background checked, and some other organizations will honor that. And if you have a card like that from another organization, we will honor that as long as it's from a reputable source. So we have a way to check that. The other option, if you click on the link that says that I need the background check covered, then that will just be covered by the church. So I just wanted to say there's 2 links to choose from in the email that you'll get. Okay?
Cool. All right. I'll let you do the middle school when we get to that one. But grade level shepherd. So really, the teacher is a shepherd for your class. So, and I mean, we kind of talked about that relationship you have with the children, following up with them, making sure that they're okay if they haven't come to Sunday school. If there's something we need to know, it's important that you let us know that. We're easily reached through email. And some of you have our phone numbers, so feel free to call us if it's an emergency, something that you feel we need to know right away. So you've got a grade level email list group here, which if you want to start passing that around, if people haven't gotten that yet, Amy, thanks, that'd be great. And that tells who, right now, this is how the grade levels are looking as far as who is in each one and teaching each one. That may change. As you can see, when you look at that list, we have lost a couple of 4th and 5th grade teachers just recently. So if you're sitting here thinking, I've got 5 teachers on my team right now. I could maybe help with 4th and 5th grade, or I have more than 5 teachers. Let us know that. That would be great. We want to have at least 4 teachers. As you can see, more and more people are becoming involved in wanting to teach. Having 5 is like a record for us in several of the grade levels, so that's awesome. That means for much more flexibility for you guys. And middle school has a number of teachers on their in their class, so that means more flexibility for them. And of course, when you're not teaching, just also still being informed of what was the lesson that week so that I know next week what lesson I need to be working on. So just being a grade level shepherd, being aware of the grace links that are going on in your age group, when the youth group is. Some of you will have kids that are now maybe in 3rd grade or up and eligible for youth group. And so that's just kind of what a grade level shepherd is. I'm going to let Heidi talk about middle school Sunday school.
So kind of a little bit new this year, we have had a 6th and 7th grade class that's been doing Old Testament, New Testament, and they've been using the confirmation curriculum. And then the 8th grade class does the last year of that confirmation curriculum. So they've been in the same cycle. Beginning this year, 6th through 8th grade will go through that 3-year cycle repeatedly. So they're all in one room. Looking at this year's rising 8th grade class, we had about 4 regular attending students last year in 6th and 7th grade that were coming on a regular basis. It was mostly your 6th graders that you had in there. And so we are combining that. It's part of our Discipleship Academy program, which you'll be hearing a little bit more. Some of the options of how you can do confirmation. Really, nothing has changed about confirmation. If you want to do it the way you've always done it, that's one of the options. But there are also some other ways that you can earn credit and work your way through Discipleship Academy. We'll be talking about that. For my teachers, I've got a big group over here. With that age and with combining the kids, we're hoping to actually get some volume in that room so you can do some small group things and be a little more connected. But it also means we can't only have 2 teachers there most of the time. So we'll need to have some small group leaders. But we also are willing to swap some teachers down to 4th and 5th or up to high school if that is appealing to somebody in that group. So we can talk about that more as we get closer to that Discipleship Academy. Okay? But for this year, it'll be the 8th grade curriculum, because the 6th and 7th graders coming up had New Testament, Old Testament, and that it just will be the same cycle going through using the Collaborate curriculum. Okay?
All right, awesome. So just quickly on this page, I don't need to read it all to you, but we encourage the children to attend worship, and we encourage you to attend worship too. We want the kids to be in service as much as possible. So that's important to us. If we have weather in the winter, sometimes we do. We try to make a decision as early as possible, and I will usually always try to send out a group email to everybody to say if Sunday school has been canceled. I don't know, maybe once in the past 6 years have we canceled Sunday school. So it's rare that it would happen. We have even combined classes because we didn't have enough teachers, but we made it work. So it's rare that we would cancel any type of church service, but it could happen. On your teacher list, you do see we have 3 substitutes. They had volunteered last year. I checked with one of them that I've seen, and she's willing to substitute again. I'm just assuming the other 2 will also, but I will check, and if we get any more subs, I will email you and let you know. So if you know ahead of time that you can't make it and you were scheduled to teach or help that day, try one of those substitutes. But the first thing you can do is try someone on your team first, because you guys will probably exchange cell phone numbers, easy text. I can't make it tomorrow, my child's sick or whatever, or I can't make it on Sunday. Start with your team, and then what I would do is then start with the whole list of Sunday school teachers, copy and paste them all into a blind copy email and say, hey, I cannot be there on Sunday, especially if you're but if you are helping and didn't have to prepare the lesson. A kindergarten teacher wouldn't mind sitting in the 8th grade, 6th through 8th grade class, just knowing they have to help. So start there, then the sub, and then if you've tried everybody and there's no one, let Heidi and I know, and we'll figure it out. Sometimes we have to combine classes just because that's the way it is, but we'll do what we can. We don't want this to be a stressful thing for you. Obviously, we want you to enjoy what you're doing. I just talked about you'll take attendance in Sunday school every morning. You'll have some kids that never seem to make it to music opening, or they're late at the very end. So when you get down to the classroom, make sure you check your attendance again and just check any kids off that might have come in late or came in at 10:05. Just make sure you mark them as being present. I know some of the older grades actually put their books, like 4th and 5th, I've seen, they put their book out and the kids come and check off their own name. So that's an idea too. Takes the work out of it for you. The classrooms, we did go through this summer Agape Day Camp, so I can't promise you that your cupboards are perfect, but one of their service projects was to go through, pull out all the leaflets, look at the crayons, look at the markers, and they kind of gave me a list of what they felt you all needed, but just go at some point this weekend, next weekend, because the following week I can go shopping before, actually even Rally Day, you won't need anything. But just in the next couple weeks, look in your classroom cupboards. If you feel like you need new crayons or new markers or new writing utensils, let me know. I'll see what we have upstairs. You can also feel free to look in the Sunday school, the Faith Formation Resource Center. We've got a lot of supplies in there. Some things do need to be replenished, but I know we have pencils up there and things like that. So if you find that you need some new things, do not hesitate. We have the funds available for you to let us know. Play-Doh, I know that you use that one year and then it gets hard, so things like that. Please let us know. Let us know ahead of time if you're doing a craft or something that you need something special that we don't have in the Faith Formation Resource Center. And I'm more than happy to go out during the week and get a Starbucks and go to Michael's. So don't tell Heidi. So yeah, whatever you need, we want you to have it. Supplies, I kind of covered all that. Good. Okay, flipping over. 4th graders will receive a Connect Bible. Those are those Bibles in the back behind Jeff on that shelf there. Some of you may actually want to look over there and see if your prior, 4th or 5th grader has their Bible still in here and you need to take it. Because we do have some older kids that are older, their Bibles are there. But when they come in 4th grade, they get one of those Bibles. This year, they're actually going to get the green hardcover Bible, similar to that, because we have several that we used to use before we bought those for each of the kids. And so we figure we'll give the kids the hardcover. But that's part of the 4th and 5th grade curriculum. The Bible is their workbook. So they go in it. Sometimes they fold pages a certain way. They highlight. It's really kind of cool what they do with the Bibles. And the bathroom, of course, you can have the kids use at your discretion. Some of you have bathrooms in your room. Some of you do not. For the older kids, of course, they're capable of going to the bathroom on their own. But for the younger ones, it's always a good idea to leave one teacher in the classroom with the door open while you kind of accompany the younger child to the bathroom and just are standing there. And they're available to help as you need. So that's not a big deal. Most of our kids are usually potty trained. I know some 2 and 3-year-olds may not be, but I haven't heard that that's really been a problem. But we do have we do not have staff and supplies in place for that. So if it begins to be a problem, then you feel free to talk to the parents about it. And talk to the parents about anything. Again, that relationship we have with the children and the adults is what makes people keep coming back to church. So any problems, feel free to talk to the parents. If there's ever a problem you're not sure what to do, please contact Heidi and I. I have an education background. Heidi has plenty of years raising 4 daughters. So we will put our brains together and figure out a solution. So don't ever hesitate to contact us. And right there's a list of the curriculum we use that you can just kind of look at. I'm not going to, we'll get into with my group, we'll talk about that a little bit more in a little bit. So you can kind of see that. And then on the back, I'm not going to read all that, classroom expectations and a discipline plan. Of course, we encourage a positive reward discipline, so we don't like to take things away from kids. The more positive you are, the more that they will actually try to be good and want to be good for you. So it gives you some examples and things you can say, like, I like the way you do this. But we try to be as positive as we can in the classroom. Again, if you have a problem that you feel like you cannot solve, come to us and we will do our best to help you. And I also have no problem talking to the parents and figuring out a solution. Sometimes it just takes the parents coming in the room one time and sitting there watching, and it doesn't happen again. Sometimes we need to do something else, so don't ever hesitate to come to us about that. So I'm going to let you read through that after today, and I don't need to read that. On the next page is the calendar of events for this Sunday school year. And you can see all of the things that we have going on, the dates of the events we have going on. It's on the second page as well. So you just want to get yourself familiar with some of these things that might be the age of the children you are teaching, and kind of stay up to date with it and remind the parents about things. I try to make a little flyer if there's something really important going on for that grade level, and I usually give them to you guys to pass out in class so the parents know that the Thank You God for Grace link is coming up the following week. But yeah, that's great. A good thing just to kind of keep aware of, and on the back there are lots more. We have, as you can see, we have a lot of really cool Grace links and events that we do here at church. If you see one that you would actually like to be involved in, even if it's not your age group that you teach, let us know. We would love for you to be involved. One example is Holy Communion Take 5. Last year, unfortunately, we could not hold it. That's for 5th graders or 6th graders that didn't get to go in 5th grade because we didn't have the volunteers to man it. So if that's, and that is just it goes through, talks about communion on a deeper level for those 5th graders rather than their Holy Communion Take 1, which they got around 1st grade. So if that's something you think, oh, I might like to be involved in that, let us know, because we would like to do it this winter. But without the volunteers, we have to kind of figure out if we can't do it or how we might want to do it and actually put it into the Sunday school curriculum for a month for those two 4th and 5th grade levels. Yeah?
Do you have to know how to make bread?
No, we actually, I'm glad you said that. The volunteers that actually kind of do, we have somebody that loves to make the bread. Okay. You know, we have someone that has in the past come and done the Seder meal. So we have those.
I have a bread maker.
Yeah, she actually makes the bread. But actually, if she can't do it, we'll take the bread maker.
That's a reason, if any of you have had Ethel and Hagley's bread, that's a reason to volunteer for this event, right?
Yep, for sure. So anyway, you can look through that and see what cool things we have going on, especially those of you that are maybe new to Christ the King.
Why don't you hand the, I want to highlight a couple of the Grace Links, and I'm going to have Cary hand out the Faith Formation booklets, because kind of the first thing coming up is Rally Day and what you are responsible for on Rally Day. We will be starting with a regular Sunday school opening, 9:45. We'd like all our teachers to be there, and that's when our musicians will get everybody excited about Sunday school. We're going to spend the next half an hour kind of talking about what Christ the King's plans are for the future, what we did over the summer when we were living out our strategic plan, and what we are planning to do as we go forward. If you flip to the back of that little booklet, you'll see the strategic plan. Our goal is to have everybody capable of actually reciting those 5 lines on the very back of the booklet. So we'll be doing that a lot throughout this year and talking about how these plans and these ideas come out of our baptismal promises. So you made those promises when you had your children baptized. You made them when you joined the church. They're the things that we're going to be emphasizing. So we'll be doing that from like 10 to 10:30. Then at 10:30, I will say, teachers, you can head to your classrooms. I'll be talking to the rest of the group for a little bit longer after that to give you some time. And then the kids will be dismissed to go to their, well, not kids, the families will be dismissed to go to their classrooms and complete registration and meet their teachers, see where the classroom is. So if there's a page in the book, Cary, what page is it, that has QR codes on it? 7. Page 7. Okay? So a few things for teachers. It might be handy. You can go ahead and register your kids right now. So go ahead. All you have to do with an iPhone is scan the QR code. The booklet, there will be live links. So if you look at the booklet online, you just click on the link. You don't need the QR code. Either way will get you to the registration form. And you can fill out the registration form for your kids ahead of time. And then you also will have in your room a big picture of the QR code. So honestly, if you have a laptop you can bring or an iPad on Rally Day, that would help. You know, your parents can come right in and you can just click that QR code. They can do it on their phone. But the important thing is that we really want to emphasize that the students need to have that on file before they're left. You can register anytime throughout the school year. We're going to have the sheet at the visitor desk so that our greeters will know if somebody's visiting. Hey, your kids can go to Sunday school, just scan the appropriate code and fill it out. There's a box there for them to check whether they're a visitor or a member.
Side note, they're flipped. The 3rd through 5th grade is the 2-year-old through 2nd, and the 2nd is, unless a QR code reader read it.
1, 2, 3. Mine didn't to the right place, wouldn't I?
Yeah, I just read it. It's good.
Anyway, so play with them. I'll let Cary talk.
Just a minute. So for those of you that maybe scan the QR code, what are you talking about? Just open up the camera on your phone and hold it over the QR code, and you'll see user error. We forgive you. You'll see a little box drop down for you to click on, and you click on that, and it brings you right to the form. And I wanted to say also on Rally Day, we will have the iPad, a laptop or 2 set up also in the atrium. For those folks that didn't bring anything to register or can't figure it out, they could do it on the church website. Yep. Yes, Bill.
So for those of you who don't have an iPhone and are Android, you may have to download an app. QR reader, there's several free apps that you can do that'll take you to the website as well.
So for Android phones, you can download an app to scan the QR code.
And if you don't have the sheet in front of you, like I said, if you're online, the links will be live. So both, you can get there through just clicking on a link if you're on a computer. So that's the other option. We're really hoping that this is going to streamline our paperwork process. So, but It's also year one, so just bear with us a little bit while we work with this and kind of hopefully make this easier. The other thing that we're really excited about is the column for Are You a Member or Are You a Visitor? So one of the things that it's been a challenge to track is when we have a family that's visiting and their kids are in Sunday school and we're trying to get all the right information in the right place. And this will be a really easy way for us to do that and to reach out to families after the fact and make sure they get the right information.
So again, you won't have a whole packet of forms in your binders. It'll be one sheet with. And I did think about this. You might have Sally Smith come in and say, I need to register Maggie for Sunday school, and it's the morning of Sunday school, and she has to do it on her phone, and you look at your sheet, and you're like, well, Sally Smith's not going to be on my sheet. So if you have a child that comes that's brand new that morning, again, it's going to be like an Excel spreadsheet, so you're going to have additional lines. You can just write the child's name, and just for that day, their emergency cell phone number. And then I can fill in the rest, or I would just print. When I see new kids that you guys have written in that week, I'll probably reprint a new form so that it's nice and fresh for the next week. But I did think about that. You'll want to make sure to definitely get that Sunday morning cell phone number in case there were an emergency or a reason you needed to contact the parents. Yes.
For folks that come after Rally Day, will we have these QR codes in our Sunday school binders?
I didn't think about putting them in your binders, but I was going to put your QR code in every classroom.
I was thinking if we're at music time.
Yeah, that's fine. That's perfect. Yep, good idea. Thank you. Send me an email to remind me to do that. And yeah, that's good. And they will also be out at the front desk, so as new members come to get their bags, the QR codes will be nice and big there. And to register your child in this grade level, scan this one, so they can do it right there if they're new members at the front desk.
Okay. Cary's comment about send me an email just reminded me of something. And I just want to highlight to you, we communicate primarily with email. So if you're saying, I probably should have heard something about Sunday school, the first thing to do is to check your email to see if you got an email from us. That's the way that we communicate. And I know in this day and age, sometimes people don't always check things, but just kind of be aware that that's how we're going to try to communicate with you. But on that note, some of you have our cell phone numbers. Email is the best way to communicate, even on a Sunday morning. Both Cary and I keep our church accounts on Sunday morning, so they come up as notifications. If you send me a text and I see it when I'm out driving and around and it gets lost, I forget that it's there. If it's an email, we can mark it as unread and remember to pick it up when we get back to church. So we just would encourage you to please use the email function as your best way to communicate with us, even if it's a last-minute communication.
It's 10:36, so
yes.
I'm just trying to move along quickly. So the parents page, that's for the parents. Well, this is you anyway. So Heidi's, I'm going to talk to my younger Sunday school teachers in a minute about how to get your lessons for those of you that have never used our Spark Online. Super easy. We're going to go over that in a sec. I'm going to let Heidi talk about our abuse prevention, which is real important. So if we get a teacher that actually clicks to watch this video at home, this is probably one of the more important things they need to hear. So.
Okay, I want to refer you to the pages at the back of your booklet. It starts right at the opening of the seam. One of the things that you say when you agree to teach at Christ the King is that you have read the child abuse prevention policy, and I know it's long and kind of detailed, but I would just ask you to take the time to go through that. I think right now, the other day, I was looking through something, we've got this hashtag #MeToo movement that has come out. There's now a new hashtag, and it's hashtag #ChurchToo. And it's for people to share their stories of abuse that happened to them in churches. And just saying that out loud gives me goosebumps, guys. So I want to start today simply by reading to you. This is from Matthew 18, and this is what Jesus had to say about our responsibility towards children. At about the same time, the disciples came to Jesus and asked, "Who is the greatest in the kingdom of heaven?" He called a child, whom he put among them, and said, "Truly I tell you, unless you change and become like children, you will never enter the kingdom of heaven. Whoever becomes humble like this child is the greatest in the kingdom of heaven. Whoever welcomes one such child in my name welcomes me. If any of you put a stumbling block before one of these little ones who believe in me, it would be better for you if you had a great millstone were fastened around your neck and you were drowned in the depth of the sea. Woe to the world because of the stumbling blocks. Occasions for stumbling are bound to come, but woe to the ones by whom the stumbling block comes. If your hand or your foot causes you to stumble, cut it off and throw it away. It is better for you to enter life maimed and lame than to have 2 hands or 2 feet or to be thrown into the eternal fire. And if your eye causes you to stumble, tear it out and throw it away. It's better for you to enter life with 1 eye than to have 2 eyes and be thrown into the hell of fire. Take care you do not despise one of these little ones, for I tell you, in heaven their angels continually see the face of my Father in heaven. And this is verses from Matthew 18, verses 1 through 10. I find it hard to read that verse out loud, but it really conveys what Christ wanted us to know about the little ones amongst us. You are representing the church in the world when you are a Sunday school teacher. And so it is so important that this place be a place of safety and a place of love for our children. That being said, as you read through the definitions, the main thing about church for us is that children are never to be alone with an adult. You always have to have 2 people present. Those 2 people can be an adult and a confirmed youth, so 15 and up when you're with really younger kids. When we're with the older kids, it needs to be 2 adults. So we understand at times there are going to be, the need to take someone to the bathroom. Again, things like keeping the door open, always having an open space and people available to watch over your kids. And that's the main rule. The one exception that comes up for this is with mentoring and confirmation is if the families have gotten together and agreed that you can go somewhere, you can transport someone. Kelsey's going to talk about this a little bit. Sometimes we need 1 driver in a car to go somewhere, but we stay in public places and go in groups in cases like that. So those are the kind of the minutia details on those 2 things. It's staying visible, and that's for your protection as well as for the protection of the children, right? So you are safe from any sort of accusation if you have other people around who were there at the time and who understand that. The other thing to be a little bit aware of, and it's not so much with the little kids, at least I hope not, one of the concerns people have in church is we all have cell phones now. They have access to laptops and things. There's a lot of stuff out there that's just really inappropriate. If you see some younger people looking at something, talking about something, intervene. Ask what they're doing. Ask what's going on. Be willing to sort of be a little bit assertive about making sure that what happens in this space happens with integrity and represents Christ. If you are concerned about something that is happening with another teacher, you can come to Cary or I, or you can come directly to one of the pastors. That your choice is on that. If you're concerned about one of your students, same thing. You can come to Cary and I, or you can go directly to one of the pastors. And sort of that's the reporting chain if you have concerns. So that being said, we ask you to sign a form that says that you have actually read through this, and we just encourage you to take the time to do that. Mm-hmm.
I hope you don't mind me mentioning this. It's just that it's something I don't think a lot of people, it would occur to them. Mm-hmm. There's actually a surprising number of abuse that happens where the perpetrator is under 18. And so there's a lot of times where we focus about like, oh, who are the teachers and the adults that are volunteering to do these things, but it is possible that, a 14, 15-year-old could be acting out some of their own issues from things that have happened to them.
Right.
With younger children. And it's just the kind of thing that I think it wouldn't really occur to most people to be thinking of that. We mostly think about adults.
Right. And again, that's where the needing to have an adult with a youth. So if you are working with younger children, there has to be somebody over the age of 18 as part of that team always. And if you're working with those older kids, that's part of your responsibility as the supervising adults is to make sure there isn't the opportunity for people to be off on their own and in places where abuse can happen.
With the possibility, what I'm understanding with this new confirmation, that if kids want to get confirmed earlier, they're going to be able to?
If they have completed the requirements, they can. Mm-hmm.
So how is that going to work with voting in the church and things? I mean, you could have possibly a 7th grader voting.
That will,
and also volunteering if it's that they just need to be confirmed to be in a classroom. Or are you gonna have an age requirement of what they can do at certain ages?
Honestly, we'll have to talk to the pastors about the age requirement for teaching and what we want to have that. That one had not occurred to me. As far as voting goes, that's between the pastor and the student. So if the student has completed the requirements and has gone to talk to the pastor, and the pastor says they're ready to be confirmed, then they get to be confirmed with the rights that go with that. Okay?
Just, I know you have on the beginning here, it says call 911 or the police, but I just had to do an extensive training for NCFC because everybody's doing. And the one thing that didn't occur to me, but the responsibility of me as an individual, is not to notify someone within the organization. It's actually to notify an authority outside of the organization. Because a lot of times, you've seen it in some footballs. Joe Paterno and Penn State notified the internally, and they kept it internal. So that's just something that I was unaware of in the pre-testing. I thought, well, I'll just tell the people at Castle and let them deal with it.
Right.
And, that's not what the policy suggested.
Right.
Well, you really have to think about it like any other crime. I mean, if you got to the church Sunday morning to open it up and you saw that someone had broken in, I mean, would you only tell the pastor about it, or would you also be calling the police? And it's a crime has to be reported like anything else.
Right.
That's good.
Yep.
Well, I think some
Neither-
people have jobs that you're required to also report child abuse.
Right. And honestly, I believe that it's the Synod policy also, is just you have to report abuse if you see it, so.
Well, it's just being a good person.
Right.
Like, that's kind of what we lose in this, is reporting abuse, even if it makes you uncomfortable, is still something you have to do. Reporting any type of crime, right? And you don't want to, it makes us sad and uncomfortable to do, but that's why we're here. We have to lead by example. Right?
Right.
And that FC thing was 90 minutes or whatever.
5 hours of my life.
It was.
Yes.
To be an assistant volunteer.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. Well, and honestly, that's part of, we ask you to sign this form. We're trusting that you're going through this because kind of the next step is the 90-minute training session if we feel like we're not getting responses from people and all of this. This is important stuff. So are we ready to break?
Yeah, I was
Okay.
just going to see what else is back here.
So at this point, Cary is going to be talking with the kids with the teachers for 5th grade and under, and I'm going to spend a little time talking with the older group teachers over here.